Chair, but as far as I know, I didn't have...
Deputy Moynihan.
Minister, when a person needs to access the social welfare system, it's usually when there's an emergency, where it's a big drop in the income, possibly illness, job loss, or whatever the situation, that they need prompt access to be able to get an income up and running again. We're seeing in many schemes anything up to 3 to 4 months in being able to process applications. I note in budget that you are setting out to make improvements on that. Can you outline how it is you are going to improve that and what you would consider to be an improvement? What are the targets you are aiming to achieve for a prompt turnaround?
Minister.
Thanks, Chair. And I'm very happy to reaffirm that in Budget 2020 our department has been allocated €21.2 billion, an increase of 3.4% on our 19 budget. This allocation ensures that my department can continue to protect our customers and make improvements to the schemes and indeed our services across the coming year. Among the priorities that I set out in the budget is a continued commitment to providing timely access to the decisions, payments and reviews for all of our schemes and services. My department has an ongoing commitment to providing a quality service to its customers, ensuring that applications are processed and that decisions on entitlements are made as quickly as possible. A recent review of processing performance by the Controller and Auditor General found that the department exceeded or was close to reaching the target volume of claims to be processed within the specified processing standards for most of our schemes. And there were a number of exceptions for this, and although good progress was reported in the time to award applications for schemes with the longest waiting times, it was noted that some of our schemes, particularly our illness and our caring related schemes, were not yet meeting our performance targets. But I am pleased to report that since the CNAG reviewed our performance earlier on this year, that really good progress has been made, particularly in relation to our illness related schemes. And so, for example, the time to award a carer's claim is now shorter than it has been at any time over the last 10-year period. There's still more progress, and you can never stop obviously, but there's still more progress to be made, and the department will continue to examine our procedures and our resourcing to identify opportunities to reduce that processing time even further. I genuinely would ask, not just your good self, Deputy, but for all of our deputies, to help the department in getting the message out that applicants, when they're making applications to us, should provide us with the complete applications forms and all of the supporting documentations that they need to go along with the application, as is set out on the checklist at the back of all our applications forms. So, for example, illness-related schemes at the outset are supposed to give us all of their medical conditions and all of their means. And genuinely, for some reason, in some cases, people hold back some medical information on the basis that they think they might need it for the appeal. And now, whilst I recognise what that does is tell people, or they're of the mindset that we're going to say no to you and you'll have to appeal anyway, we don't say no. We only say no when we don't have the full volume of information that's required. And so just to try and encourage people to make as full an application as they can.
Deputy Moynihan.
And Gurmagad on outlining on that. But Minister, can you outline what it is you consider to be a satisfactory waiting time? What are the targets you are setting out to achieve? Because for somebody who's waiting for an illness payment or job seekers to come through, it's currently 3 to 4 months in many cases. Even if they do go to the community welfare officer to get a temporary payment, that's not going to be as, it'll be means tested, and it's likely it won't be as great as the payment that they would be entitled to. And especially, Minister, when you stop and look at the fact that it's, in many cases, it's a benefit. They've already paid in their stamps. It should be fairly clear-cut to be able to quickly process many of those applications and get them back out as quickly as possible. Can you outline what it is you consider to be a realistic target for somebody to be waiting? Ideally, we want that as short as possible, but what do you consider? And how are you going to bring about those changes? What specifically are you going to change? And also, Minister, how soon will those changes be implemented so that people who are applying now and over the coming weeks, will they see a benefit on it?
Okay, Minister.
So if I give you just a couple of examples, and it worries me that you've included job seekers' benefit in the list of long waits, because it should be less than a week, maybe 2 weeks max if there's a means test to be done for JAA. There's no delay in job seekers at all. And so if there is, and you have some, will you let me know? But the ones that do cause frustration probably the most are our illness-related and caring schemes. And so, for argument's sake, at the end of October, the Department had met its target of 70% of new carers applications, or carers allowance applications, of being processed within the 12-week target. And what we're currently at now is a 10-week processing time. However, carers allowance is a means-tested payment, and so once that bit is done, then we move on to the medical bit. And so that's why I was referring earlier on. If all of the medical information is provided, then the 10-week period is something that should be genuinely relatively easy to reach. Now, we do have a 12-week target. I'm probably very giddy and demanding insofar as that I think now that the 12-week target should be reduced to 10 weeks because we're hitting 10 weeks, and so therefore we should be moving down to 8 weeks. But I am minded to say that we moved people into the carer section relatively recently, arising from efficiencies that we had in other areas, and that continuously needs to happen with our front office, back office approach. And so we may need to move people. But look, at the end of the day, the rest of the answers that you're looking for is in the report. I give it to you. At the end of the day, more people mean faster results. But I'm at a time where my staffing allocation is coming down in the department, and so it's not like we can just go out and get more people. What we have to do is to improve the efficiencies and the practices in the department, make them more efficient by using technology so that we can use our valuable resource, which is our staff, to the best ends.
Deputy Moynihan.
And Gormagat, the issue of the illness benefit, specifically benefit as well, because you've already paid in your stamps. It should be fairly clear-cut and straightforward. There shouldn't be any significant delay on it. So it should be possible with any of the benefits for it to be able to much faster get them through. Minister, how soon will applicants be able to see the benefit of this, any changes you are going to make? Are we looking at something you're going to be changing over the next year, and that it will be the year after or the year after that before applicants will be able to see speeded up times? Or is it people who are applying today and next week that will be able to see the benefit and have their application processed before Christmas?
I'd like to think and hope that they're already seeing the benefits, and so for argument's sake, carers allowance, we have a processing time, target time of 12 weeks. Our current turnaround time is 10. For disability allowance, we have a processing time of 12 weeks. Our current turnaround time is 10. Domiciliary care allowance, we have a processing time of 12 weeks. Our current turnaround time is 10. Illness benefit should be a week, and the only reason that the illness benefit should be anyway delayed is because if we don't receive a medical certificate from the person. So you're absolutely right. They're either have the cons to actually avail of the benefit, or they don't, and that's very simple to determine. Where there might be a delay is if the medical certificate doesn't come in. But again, that's only, that might delay you by about a week. There should be no delay with regard to illness benefit. For JB or JA, the JA may be just as a result of means tests and not receiving information, but all of those kind of schemes should be turned around in a matter of days, if not very, very weeks. The long-term ones were the CA, CB, domiciliary care allowance and the disability allowance, and again it was all around the provision of the medical certificates and information that needed to go to support to give to our medical assessors.
Okay, we move on. We've already discussed that.